bring in Trey Daerr, the sports director there in Fayetteville. Trey, good afternoon. I know that right now the Hog fans are kind of licking their wounds. What's the mentality as you're going into this Notre Dame battle?
It's very different than it was a week ago, going into the Memphis game. Coming out of the Ole Miss game, yeah, sure, it was heartbreak, but there was like some optimism. Like, hey, maybe we are going to have a football season. They had that game. They were competitive. There's a lot of respect for Lane Kiffin, maybe Trinidad Chambliss is like a star in the making kind of thing. So people were like optimistic, like, all right, let's go take care of Memphis, get to 3-1, and then we got one of the biggest games in recent memory against Notre Dame. Now it is. It unfortunately seems like a formality that change is going to be made. It's just a matter of what that change is. Is it going to be a coordinator thing with Travis Williams, a defensive coordinator? Maybe something beyond that. Is it going to be Sam Pittman? And then, dare I say, is it going to be the athletic director, which is starting to get talked about too? I'm not saying any of that. But I think you're crazy to. You're crazy to think if this team's going to go 3-9, 4-8, if they're not going to have a chance.
Seems like a really good year to take over as a sports director in Fayetteville, though.
Yeah, and we're understaffed right now, and it's like trying to the whole drinking out of the fire hose thing is a.
I just thought you were going to say the whole drinking thing, and I was going to be like, relatable.
I heard the cut from this E60 documentary with Lane Kiffin, like, the dude gave up drinking. It was like, probably a good thing as a college football coach. Do not let yourself, succumb to the vice that is the pain of leaving.
Since you opened the door, let's just walk through it. You said that there obviously will be some changes made here with this program. Coming off the heels of what the AD just said a week ago about how this team is not necessarily equipped to compete for national championships, I did not think that it meant you're not equipped to beat Memphis at home and give up nearly 300 yards rushing. How has all this landed on with the fan base that loves football, that's really passionate about football, and some of the ways that they want to see this team move, not only right now in 2025 but moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's apathetic, and you're almost kind of resigned to the fact that it is what it is, and change is being made, right? Well, I mean, of course, change is being made. The football coach is 32 and 33. I don't care what program you are. Yeah. All due respect, because they got it rolling right now. I don't care if it's Vanderbilt or Northwestern or Indiana before this flash in the pan got there 13 games ago, or whoever.
Kurt Signetti, put some respect on it.
I know. Hey, he's a Pittsburgh guy. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I really wanted to be the coach of Pitt, but ain't no shot. Like, what is if some of these primo jobs like Alabama or Florida or Michigan, if they come open, it's like, what are they going to pay?
Yeah.
Kurt Signetti. But anyways, it was, man, what a winner. But I digress. Yeah, I mean, change is going to have to be made, and it's weird. Like the Yurichek comments were truthful, right? Like that is what it is. Yeah. We're getting here. Arkansas can't, so why was the dude buried? Well, it's kind of like, whenever your wife or your husband or whoever says, hey, how do I look in this? In your mind, like, not great, but you can't say that. Hunter Yurichek did that. He told his wife she doesn't look great. That's what you're doing to the fan base. And really my big picture here, and this kind of applies to pro sports, but I think it applies even more to college sports. The board of directors or the big money boosters or the president or the AD or even the football coach, like, they want to believe that the football program belongs to them. But that's BS. It doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the people.
Yeah.
And you have graduates and you have, lesser known boosters and people who are part of the company, or part of the community, and have been going to these games all their life. And the team belongs to them. And if they're investing their team, their time, and their money in tickets and in fundraising and all that stuff, they don't want to hear that we can't compete. They want to see change. So, yeah, fine. Arkansas may not have the money to fire a football coach, to fire an AD, but they're going to have to, because the people are outraged. And if people grow more and more outraged, there will be change.
So that's what I was just about to ask, because I'm really Googling it as we talk. Arkansas has got money. Or people don't say that Arkansas got money. People, there's enough companies that have money. I mean, what's the holdup? Like, what's the weight here? Because I said it looks like his buyout would be, about $10 million. It drops to about $7 million if Arkansas wins 4 games or fewer. So it's just waiting and seeing. Do you think he makes it to the end of the year? Do you think he's going to be a guy who is a mid-year fire, or do they go somewhere else?
First I want to make this very clear. Sam Pittman is an awesome guy. He is
without question.
as authentic
Without question.
as it gets. Unfortunately though, it's kind of not working. It's 7-19 in one score games. That seems to be a coaching thing. And you look at the game, you're like, well, hey, they're in position, missed tackles or whatever. Well, they're there, they're competing, but they can't finish games. Well, eventually that does fall back on the coach. And another thing, it was, they were really turned away at the altar. They thought they had Lane Kiffin. The job was offered to Lane Kiffin in late 2019, early 2020, whatever it would have been. And Lane wanted the job, and him and Jimmy Sexton, they leveraged the situation and they went to the best situation for them. And look where Ole Miss is. I want to say they're 49-18 since he got there. Ole Miss, big revelation here, guys. We forget it. We live in a reactionary culture. That is not a good program. Traditionally, they're not on the level of Arkansas, which perennially Arkansas, through the Bobby Petrino years, was an 8-9 win kind of program under Frank Broyles and under Ken Hatfield and under Houston Nutt, certainly, and then even Petrino for a brief time. So this is a good program. The money thing is a big question. As far as I understand, I think Arkansas is the second poorest state in the SEC, behind only Mississippi. But, hey, Ole Miss has found the money. Kiffin had 10 wins 3 of the last 5 years, I believe.
The state or the program? Let's be honest. I mean, we can sit here and list the states and who's got more money and who doesn't, but there are programs that can be as wealthy as they want to be if they want to be.
Yeah, you can find the money, and that's the athletic director's job to find the money.
Yeah.
How they go about doing that, I don't know. But anybody that says it's not about the money, they're kidding themselves. The program has to find the money. Whether that's the athletic director, whether that's getting a better football coach in here. And Ole Miss is a great example. They have found the money through the collectives, through the boosters, through their alumni base, all that stuff, and they've turned a corner. So in the modern era here, you have to embrace all that college football is. And whenever people say, like, well, I don't like the direction the sport's going, all that stuff, you know what that is? That's an excuse. And that's a big old red flag.
Yeah.
But if they're going to fire an athletic director and or football coach during the season, I'm sure there's an example, but off the top of my head, when has that ever worked out? I think Mike Shula was the coach before Saban at Alabama. I do think he was fired like in early November or something. So maybe that's one of them. But usually it seems like when you fire a coach in the middle of the season, you don't really have a plan. You're just doing it to kind of call off the dogs that are your fan base. And that may happen to Arkansas. I don't think they want to fire Sam Pittman, but if they're going to get off to like a 2-7 start, 2-5 start, whatever, I don't think they're going to have a choice. I think they're going to have to move on.
Now, and I agree with you. I think a lot of times, especially now with our accelerated calendar, we're seeing it at Virginia Tech and we're seeing it at Oklahoma State, seeing it at UCLA. You're almost wanting to get out ahead of the possible vacancies. And it seems like Arkansas's program, let's just say, let's live in a hypothetical world for 15 seconds. Let's say those 4 programs are the major programs that need coaches. To me, Arkansas would be the most attractive on paper.
Why weren't those guys fired in December? Why are we fired in September? A month into the football season? And now I think as bad as it was at UCLA, and I mean, he got blasted by New Mexico, and as bad as it is at Oklahoma State, it's like, how are you going to do that to those kids? What's their buy-in going to be now?
Well, I mean, I think that they're doing the kids a favor, probably in their minds. I mean, I think they're all different answers. I think there's answers differently in all of them. UCLA went and paid a lot of money to get a quarterback for them to win really, really quickly, and then they didn't. Not to mention, nobody was watching the games. Nobody was there. It was empty. It was painful. It was bad. And Nico, I mean, there's just not working. And so I think that you're like, hey, you're just mad. At that point, you're just mad. You're like, you know what? Get out. Like, this is not working. Gundy was Oklahoma State. And it's Oklahoma State headed down a path that's like a train that's like lost. Is like there's no control, right? So if you don't just completely rip the Band-Aid off and get out, kind of like what might happen at some point with Clemson and Dabo, is like Clemson is Dabo. Gundy was Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State said, hey, we can't let this just continue to lose money and lose time. And I mean, I don't think, the thing is, I think Sam Pittman being so lovable, being so liked, is partially why he's probably there, because he is someone that, dang, you just really, really like that dude.
Yeah. I think it'd have to get really, really bad for him to not survive the season. But I'm just reading between the lines. I don't have any information on this, but just, what I hear the athletic director say, they're struggling to come up with the revenue share, the $20 million. So they're going to, that's just this year.
That's
they're
so surprising. Is that surprising to you? I mean, I understand that there are
Yes, because I think it's, to me, any university that's crying poor about the revenue share and we can't pay the kids and all that crap, baloney.
As a power four, yeah.
You've had free labor all these years. Figure it out.
Right.
I don't care that you have staffers that have inflated salaries or whatever it is. Or what's Texas A&M doing, firing Jimbo Fisher for $75 million? Or these other schools, $30 million buyouts.
Did they fire the guy who got him in there too? Because that was idiotic to begin with. So.
Well, and hey, there is no better fundraiser than firing a head football coach.
Honestly, I would love to be a fired head football coach. I can just hang out all the time.
But
bang.
Me too. These people
Sign
are
me
way
up.
too prideful. Are you kidding me? Josh McDaniels got fired by the Raiders. $40 million left on his contract, and he's back as a coordinator with the Patriots.
By the way, we're all doing it wrong because none of our contracts have any guaranteed money, guys. Unless you guys all have the one that I don't have.
I got a 5-year. As far as I understand, it's a 5-year contract. But as far as I really understand it, to them, it's like 5 1-year contracts.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
exactly right.
Side, the other side. But anyway, so if they're going to move on from the head coach, it's going to be really expensive. So you got to come up with $20 million in revenue share. They never had to account for it to begin with. Sam Pittman, let's say his buyout's going to fall somewhere $6-7 million. There's another. You're wiping out his entire staff. There's another $5 million. So, we're counting the revenue share cut there. We're up to $30 million. Well, what's the new head coach going to want? And are you going to do it right? Or are you going to hire another mid-major coach that's an up-and-comer? And then maybe you got Chad Morris or, to a lesser extent, Sam Pittman kind of all over again. To me, it's time for a change. Find the money. Find the money. So you're paying a coach $10 million. You're paying his staff probably about half that, maybe even a little bit more. You may need to hire and fire a new athletic director. And oh, by the way, no coach that is worth anything, even if they are coming from the mid-major ranks, they're not taking this job if they don't have $20 million to go invest in a roster, which, as far as I understand, Arkansas is at about half that right now.
Yeah.
Which that should be enough. Hey, 10, 11, $12 million. If you're getting the right guys, you should be able to compete if you got a good enough coach. So, yeah, sure, more money means more problems, but it also means better players. Look at Texas Tech. They found the money.
Yeah,
they're doing it.
Big time.
Ole Miss found the money. They're doing it. Florida? Why can't Florida? Florida's one of the best jobs in the country.
Ole Miss just improved their everyone already loves just the pregame stuff. They just made tuition higher, and they said, people want to come here. Might as well just get them to pay more, and they made it work.
So why can't
make Fayetteville pretty? Trey, figure it out.
Again, I don't know how this all works. I'm sure that some real business person or real politician could tell me why I am a total moron for thinking about this. Can't we come up with some 1% tax in Arkansas that goes right to the university?
Hog fans would probably be okay with it. If they're going to vote on something like that, they'd probably vote in favor of it. Any idea they might have a better football team.
You go to Las Vegas, and who's building Allegiant Stadium? The gamblers, the people that are the gambling tax, the hotel tax. Hey, Walmart, figure it out. What if Walmart?
That's what I'm wondering. Don't y'all have a couple? But Walmart's the other one. Walmart and Tyson or something. Get your chicken nuggets, bro. Get those dino nuggets. I know what they cost. I know what those dino nuggets cost me. I should be able to foot the bill for their football team.
They dumped a lot of money into they dumped
the Walton family, which is coming up, and they're going to build a new Broncos stadium, completely privately funded. So how about this? How about they make an announcement? They say, guys, we're raising our prices by 1%. Nationwide, everywhere but the state of Arkansas. And that entire 1% of our revenue is going right to the university. Problem solved. I mean, that's free advice.
Honestly, I don't think it's a bad idea.
Do you think that the whole country would boycott Walmart?
If my nuggets...
They're the cheapest. So Amazon.
Oh, we're talking about Tyson, or we're talking about Walmart?
Oh, you're talking about Walmart.
Oh, we're talking about Walmart?
Either
no.
Or.
I mean, listen, Walmart doesn't need to be raising prices. They're already way better than Target, man. When you're trying to get that out of hand, all I'm saying is I would be willing to pay more for Dino Nuggets if it meant Arkansas had a competitive football team. That's all I'm saying.
One penny on every dollar. You'll take it just so Tyron Green can have some receivers to throw to going into the season.
It's a bummer. I mean, all due respect to Memphis, it's probably going to win. 10, 11 games.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
a great conference.
12. Yeah. Who knows? But where are they at in the SEC? 12? Did Arkansas just lose to the 12th best team? 13th, 14th? That's who Arkansas lost to?
Yeah.
So, where are you at? And if Arkansas has money problems, I don't know the guy's name, but apparently the FedEx owner is a massive booster at Memphis.
Yeah, he is.
Trey's out here trying to literally fundraise for this program right now. Make it work, guys. Trey, looking ahead, just for Arkansas, as we try to just reel this in somehow, because this conversation has gotten way too good to talk about actual football. What is the path forward for this program? For the next 3 schools, and then Auburn, if you count 26 as a number, which you don't in the AP, we had to teach some folks over here that. But Notre Dame, Tennessee, A&M, Auburn. I mean, it's a tough stretch here.
Yeah, I love to follow the gambling lines, and this Notre Dame line is moving. I think it's down to 5 points. So it's probably going to be good. Can you imagine if they fumble another ball in the red zone and lose the game this weekend?
I know what will happen. I know what will happen at the hometown. My dad, he's a season ticket holder for Notre Dame, and I can tell you how he'll be feeling if that happens. It will not be good. It will not be a good situation there at the Eli household for the Irish.
Yeah, they're so close to being 4-0, but the reality is they're 2-2. They have the talent. They can win this game. My biggest concern is in the climate of college football, and we are through 4 games, so for the most part, and I think this is by design. Pittman, a lot of other coaches, they want 4th-year seniors, they want 5th-year seniors. They don't want this we have an extra year eligibility and we're disappointing right now, so we're sitting out the rest of the year and I'm going to go get my big payday next year. Well, I think on purpose. I do not think that is a coincidence. They have targeted a lot of 4th and 5th year players, so maybe what they lack in talent, they're getting in a little bit more security, things like that. So I don't really expect the team to quit, but I sensed the disappointment. I felt the optimism almost coming out of the Ole Miss game. You feel the disappointment. And another thing, this fan base is out for blood.
Yeah.
They're frustrated. Yeah. They're very frustrated. This is not the last year. This is not the last 2 years. This is not the last 4 years. This has really gone back to probably about 2016, 2017, towards the end of the Bielema year era. So we're approaching here a decade of you've just been kind of middling. Yeah. I don't think they've had a winning record in the SEC in any of those years. They've had 1 9-win season. It was in 2021, and that was under Sam Pittman. So what I mean by the fan base being out for blood, I think they are showing up on Saturday, and they are prepared to boo.
Yeah.
They bought their tickets. It's going to be sold out. They want to see a good game. They want Arkansas to win. They want to see the golden helmet. Here come the Irish, the fight song, all that stuff. They want to really, really enjoy. Yeah, there you go. They want to enjoy the day. If they're down 14-0 at the end of the first quarter, you're going to hear that sound of a jet engine. It's going right down to the field. And all that negative energy is going to be going right on to the players and the coach. And it'll be interesting to see how they respond to it. But with Taylor Green, with where Bobby Petrino is, offensively, they the fewest points they've scored this year is 31.
Yeah,
that's a good point. They've had 31 points this past week, 35 the week before, over 500 yards of offense each of the last 2 weeks, and lost both games. Yeah. Now, all that said, this past week they beat themselves. Taylor Green threw an interception in the red zone, had another one near midfield. Obviously, the fumble inside the 10-yard line. I don't care if you have 600 yards of offense. You have 3 turnovers, you lose turnover battle. That's hard to overcome.
Yeah. Trey Daerr joining us from Fayetteville, sports director there. We appreciate your time, sir, and definitely going to revisit this topic sometime next week about this time to see. Is there some hope? Is there something favorable for the Hog fans? Can they get it done against Notre Dame? We'll find out this weekend, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
One play at a time, one moment at a time. If they find a way to get it done, Sam Pittman's going to buy himself a whole lot of time and buy himself some good equity. So what's top of mind right now, they got to find a way to win.
No doubt. Appreciate it, sir.
And we're talking about the cabinets here next week or the week after.
Listen, we're going to go check out our guy Dana Green in Utah, and if not, trust me, all I wanted to hear was about the home renovations because that conversation is going to be sidelined, but only for a week because I want to know all about the move and how things are going there with the kitchen renovations. So, and we want to have pictures. I mean, we need to see what's going on and how much you're helping out.
You got it.
Appreciate it.